I watch episode 65 of Pokémon every year because I watch every episode of Pokémon every year. In episode 65, the Battle of the Badge, there are two battles of the Badge. Ash and friends arrive at the now open Viridian City Gym and acknowledge the passing of time. According to the English dub only, it has been a full year since Ash left Pallet Town, which would also make this his birthday. In failing to reach any of his intended goals in that time, he disregards his physical growth and begins to lie about his age. Whilst basking in his own hype, Ash hesitates to enter the gym long enough for another challenger to approach, who in the same amount of time has achieved substantially more than him. Gary flaunts his DS case full of his plethora of pins. Of his boom of boons, 7 come from gyms unknown, and the 3 that Gary and Ash have in common are the 3 that Ash shouldn't have either. Gary has already amassed more than enough markers to enter the Pokémon League. He only attempts an 11th piece of aid ahead of Ash in search of the emotional validation that he doesn't get from his family. Ash tries to go in after him but is stopped by the original Mafia. Ash and Gary have never seen each other on the field of battle. Their terse and tenuous situationship stems from their shared trauma. Every row of their rivalry ends in regression. The empathic egg attempts to console Ash, but surprised that someone aside from Pikachu cares about him, he immediately rejects the gesture. Ash spurns the shelled seraph, sending it straight into the stomach of a scary sparrow. After being denied ownership over it, Togepi's life means nothing to Ash. Togepi's big day out continues with the others who once coveted it, who now see it only as a potential offering for their employer. Togepi revels in risks and allows itself to be reclaimed by the rejects. As his perky puppets Pom and Pom, the prideful Pallet Town prick begins his battle of the badge against the only gym leader with actual leadership abilities. In his first proper battle shown, Gary succeeds through sheer strength, defeating a ground-type Pokémon with a poison-type Pokémon and a water-type Pokémon with a fire-type Pokémon. Down by 2, the chairman rises from his chair, revealing his face and a pocket monster that doesn't fit in his pocket. Never seen before except in the opening shot of every episode. Mewtwo strikes for the first time and several more times after that, ruining Gary's entire life, which from its perspective only amounted to 3 seconds of a montage. Back in the big chair, Giovanni confronts his capos in person for the first time in a year. The low earners present him with their first return on investment, finally making their workplace fantasy into a reality. But the cracked cuddler can't compete with the king of the clones. Nobody wants Togepi anymore. The big boss is called away for his pre-sale tickets for the first movie and leaves the gym and his Pokémon in the hands of his henchpeople. Ash and friends return to the gym where they hear Togepi's cries from behind the doors of the now unguarded entrance. They reunite with Togepi and Ash's resting rival, who has now been shown unconscious in his 3rd consecutive appearance. Gary wakes a bluer shade of blue and informs Ash of the box office estimates for their theatrical release. He hypes up the unknown opponent, calling Mewtwo evil and undefeatable. The cinema scale vibe is soured by the entrance of the evil that is serially defeatable. Ash and friends act surprised that a criminal organization would want to run a Pokémon gym, even though that's been a plot point before. In the 2 hours max that they've been in charge, they've redesigned the entire setup of the Viridian City gym, with rising platforms and dramatic lighting all installed whilst half a dozen children lay unconscious on the floor. In the second battle of the badge, the differences in Ash's strategy in comparison with Gary's is exemplified. Where Gary ignores type weaknesses in favor of raw strength, Ash first fights with his weakest Pokémon as fodder to better understand his enemy. But the villains are well aware of Ash's approach and have implemented equality of suffering. For Pokémon and trainer, every unkindness is paid in kind and every fold returned in fold. Ash feels the pain he is responsible for firsthand for the first time on his birthday, further foreshadowing the themes of the feature film. But the equality is also equal for the other side. Ash sends out Pikachu, who he should have started with, to again defeat a Pokémon that it shouldn't be able to defeat. Ash wins an unfair battle unfairly, furthering his bond with all of his Pokémon except the one who really needed that hug. Gary acknowledges his abilities after actually seeing them and again advertises the blockbuster coming soon to theaters. Who's That Pokémon? Also promoting future content. Another building central to the economy of Viridian City is destroyed by the actions of those adjacent to Ash Ketchum. After a battle where both sides should have been disqualified, Ash accepts the Earth Badge from the sky from a gym that would have been deconsecrated if the authorities were informed. Whenever his main goals are in reach, Ash's morality wavers. Now meeting the minimum requirements to enter the Indigo League, Ash can return home to find out what the Indigo League actually is. Instead of his age or education level, Ash allows his goals to grow and change. On the first of many birthdays that he won't celebrate, he continues his journey with new unknown goals as his only acknowledgement of the passage of time. His age is no longer a number, never again to be continued.